Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Karen. Today I'm filming a very highly requested video, so I'm answering some of the very commonly asked questions, not only regarding Mandarin learning, but learning languages in general. So the first one that I get so often asked is it possible to only learn speaking and listening of Chinese? And I repeated my answer a lot of times as well. My opinion is that it is only possible to get you through the beginning stage, so maybe when you're A1 or A2 level, because it is understandable that you're getting all sorts of information about this language, which is pretty complicated and different from English and other Western languages, because the grammatical structure is different, the sentence order is different, the writing system is different. All of these information can be a little bit overwhelming, so you don't have the energy to manage all of them, all the aspects, so it is understandable in the beginning, but it is really difficult after you have already built a base, you have accumulated a certain amount of knowledge, and to progress further, if you don't know any reading or writing at all, it is difficult, especially if you're traveling to China or you've already living in China. It is even more complicated because at many places the signs or the menus, they don't have Pinyin or English translation, they only have the Chinese characters. So how are you going to survive if you cannot read any of them? Also, if you are planning to make Chinese friends, you cannot chat with them using Pinyin all the time. The other problems is that when you accumulate a certain amount of words or vocabulary, you start to notice that there are so many words with the exact same pronunciation and Pinyin, but they mean totally different things. That's because the Chinese characters are different. Again, if you cannot read, it's going to be really tricky for that. So if you don't need to write Chinese character particularly, at least learn how to type them using your phone or your laptop. So I suggest that don't have the attitude that you can leave these two aspects completely if you're really determined to learn this language thoroughly and systematically. Also, if you want to learn this language well, you should also pick all the aspects because there are the four essential parts of a language: the listening, the writing, the speaking, and the reading. The second question that I get so often asked is that what should I focus in the beginning? And this question also ties back to the first one. In the beginning, I would say that focus on the listening and speaking first, but that does not mean that you can leave the reading or writing behind. For the total beginners, when you just start to learn Pinyin, I suggest that don't dig into it too much. Don't focus specifically on how you can pronounce them perfectly too much because you'll get so easily frustrated. The process of perfecting your accent and your pronunciation will be there throughout the entire journey of learning this language. So even when you're at an advanced level, you still have moments that you need to perfect your accent or your pronunciation of certain words. So don't dig into it too much, and also don't leave it completely behind. A lot of students are just like, okay, I'm gonna toss the tones behind. What are them? They're not important. I'm not gonna learn them at all. Find a good balance in the middle, so you know that this is something you need to learn, but also don't be like, I have to learn how to pronounce these four tones exactly, otherwise I'm not gonna learn anything else. After maybe you're at A2 or B1 level, start to pick up the reading. I would say start slow with the most basics because it can already get you very far. You can Google online the 100 most commonly used Chinese characters and try to memorize them. You can also create your own little story or your own creative ways of how you memorize what they look like and how you associate the meaning to the image. There are also books that are dedicated to this to make the process easier. For example, Chineasy, which is pretty popular right now, and also some Instagram posts. I will put the link down below. And the third commonly asked question is that how did I learn English? In my opinion, I always think that there are two major components in the language, which are the grammars and the vocabulary. So I think the grammars are the skeleton that gives you structure, gives you logic behind this language, why the sentence is like this, why is it in this order. And the vocabularies are like the flesh that you put on the skeleton, so with the two you have a whole body. So the vocabulary gives you the opportunity and the ability to speak all sorts of topics you want to talk about. I think grammars are really important if you want to learn a language well, especially for those who don't have the immersion of a language. For those who don't live in a destination country, so they cannot be surrounded with the language all the time. you need to learn grammars even more and with more work. Talking about immersion is super important not only to level up your listening ability and also your speaking ability. About listening, have some kind of pause that on for at least 15 minutes every single day so you won't lose track of how this language sounds. And with speaking, of course, I suggest you open up your mouth to speak every single day. If you don't have local friends, what I do often is that I will read books out loud. When I read an English book, I really read them out loud. Also, there are a lot of online websites that you can utilize to find language partners to practice your speaking. Another trick that I do, which works really well for me, is that I will find an interesting topic that I'm so familiar with. Either it's a show like Modern Family, I'm a huge fan of it, or it's a certain topic. For example, you know a certain show that you can literally recite the plot. Then when you watch the same show in a different language, it's not going to be such a struggle for you because you already know it so well. Because this video is already getting too long, I'm going to list all sorts of materials that you can use to enhance your Chinese learning experience even more. Down below in the description box, go check it out. I have some YouTube channels that I recommend, also some websites that you can get audio and videos, also apps you can utilize as well. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!